So I want to give my thoughts briefly on the DreamWorks' newest film, The Bad Guys. I've had all kinds of recording issues today. I tried filming this like an hour ago, it didn't work, and then I tried again, it still doesn't work, and my camera's been pulling some shenanigans all day, so I'm not as excited as I was earlier talking, because I was like, I'm excited to film, and now I'm just I'm just wanting to get this over with. But that doesn't mean this movie was this because of the movie. It was purely due to my camera shenanigans. So, So, this is, of course, DreamWorks' newest film, and it's based on a book, which I didn't know about until I looked up the poster to get for this review. So, because pretty much most DreamWorks films are based on some kind of kid's book nowadays. Like, even Shrek was, I'm pretty sure. So, the main plot of this is that a group of bad guys, group of criminals, Mr. Wolf, Mrs. Tarantula, Mr. Shark, Mr. Piranha, and Mr. Snake, are notorious criminals, and after they are arrested, after a heist gone wrong, they decide that they can be given another chance to become good guys, which they don't know is actually a plot by the bad guys to act like they're becoming the good guys and try to finish their heist. And, of course, they eventually figure out, you know what, maybe we like being good. And that's... So, yeah, you've seen this movie, you've seen this plot a ton of times. So even in a lot of anime films like Wreck-It Ralph, Megamind, Despicable Me, hell, even the Descendants movies did this every time for some reason. So the story is nothing new, but it not being new doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. What matters is if it's done well. And I'd say it is done pretty well in this movie. The animation's, of course, fantastic because it's DreamWorks, even though it's kind of an Illumination look to it, especially with the human characters, because this is a movie where humans and animals just kind of coexist. And I'm okay with that. It doesn't really need an explanation in an animated realm. They can kind of just do whatever they want. And because a lot of this operates on cartoon logic as well. There are several times where a character will be hit by a speeding car and they'll be just fine. So, or they'll like zip around and do some stuff that breaks the laws of physics, and so that stuff you can get away with in animation. And stuff like this, you don't really need an explanation, and that's fine. And they're of course like seen as bad guys already because because the creatures they're a wolf, a spider, a snake, a piranha, and a shark, which are not exactly the friendliest of creatures on the planet. So that kind of works. The metaphor is very similar to the one they had in Zootopia, where the predators were feared by prey, because that's how they used to be savage beasts that hunted prey like they do in the modern world. So that already makes sense enough. And the voice acting for all these characters is really good. I like Sam Rockwell's Mr. Wolf. He gives the character just enough. You can tell he's someone who wants to be a good guy, but is always just seen as the bad guy because of all the big bad wolf stories and the wolf in sheep's clothing and everything. And they're not very subtle about that metaphor, because when they're being the good guys, they're told to do a heist where they break out a bunch of guinea pigs that are being experimented on, which is part of the villain's plan, which I'll get into later. And they're given like some different kind of animal like costume, I guess, which isn't that kind of like wouldn't that be like a human wearing a onesie of a person, of another human? I don't know. But Mr. Wolf's is a sheep. Yeah, they're not the least bit subtle about that, but it doesn't mean it. Just because it's not subtle doesn't mean it's not good. All the other characters are good. Mark Maron, I don't recognize the actor, but he plays Mr. Snake, and he does it pretty well. Aquafina is Miss Tarantula. She does good enough in the role. She's not... In Raya and the Last Dragon, she was kind of annoying, because she just wouldn't shut the hell up. But she was likable in Shang-Chi, because Marvel knows how to write their characters and not make them annoying, unless it's intentional. So she was good in that one, and here she's fine. There's nothing wrong with her here. Craig Robinson plays a shark, and I don't know why, but that casting felt pretty good. I don't know why. It seemed accurate, and it worked. I liked it. Anthony Ramos plays the Mr. Piranha, and he does get to sing in this movie, and he's, of course, pretty good. There was a reason he was in the Heights. The song is kind of repetitive, but it's just used for the one scene, used as a distraction, so it's So it's fine, and I like the sequence, and he does pretty well as the character. And Mr. Piranha was definitely the best character in the movie. What was that? Is that my door? I don't know. What was my point? Oh, yeah. There are, of course, other characters, like there's the new governor, who's a fox, don't remember her name, nor the actress. And the same thing is true of this British guinea pig, who, and I will warn you now, the rest of this is a spoiler review, because this movie's already been out for over a week. If I get a review late, it's going to be a spoiler-filled review, so there you go. He's the villain of the movie, and when it was revealed about 50 minutes in, give or take, I thought it was really dumb. Because I was kind of hoping this wouldn't have a twisted villains. Most of the time, animated movies don't do twisted villains well. Some have done it okay, like Wreck-It Ralph did it okay, I think. A lot of Pixar ones did it pretty good, like The Incredibles did it extremely well. But then you have Frozen, Big Hero 6, and Zootopia, and while I like those movies, well, I like Big Hero 6 and Zootopia, the villains were terrible. Because the twist was terrible, because either A, it was glaringly obvious, or two, it wasn't obvious because it came out of nowhere. In this one, they do the kind of flashback thing where they show all the seeds that were planted to try to set it up, and I think it could have been handled a bit better, but overall I think it was set up okay. And this isn't the only time they do this, and they do it later, for reasons I'll get into later. And another thing I had an issue with was that it had the whole third act breakup where the group kind of breaks up because reasons they're in the movie, because Wolf decides he wants to be good, like in the middle of their heist he decides to not do the heist, and doesn't matter, the guinea pig steals it anyway and blames them for it. And then so they of course do the whole breakup thing, and then because he wants to be good and the other ones gradually decide that they want to be good too. And I like how they do it because Mr. Snake, who is the most devious and cruel of them all, inadvertently does something nice when he gives, because it was one of their tests was he was supposed to give push pop instead of eating himself to Mr. Shark. And here he takes it out of the fridge, and while Mr. Shark is upset because Fox gave back all their, or not Fox, Wolf gave back all their stuff and he kind of left, he gives it to him to make him happy. So it was done pretty well, and he does it without even realizing it. And I really do like that. Hell, I didn't even really notice at first. But one thing I wasn't expecting is that I knew they were going to go save Wolf and they were going to team up at the end, but one thing that was interesting is that they had Snake team up with the villain in the end. What is... Ugh. Never mind, something showed up on my camera. Mr. Snake teamed up with the villain, which I thought was interesting. And then but then at the end, it's revealed that he actually he helped foil the villain's plan without him realizing it, without the guinea pig realizing it. And this one was done a lot more cleverly because briefly because he has this kind of mind controlling helmet he whipped up off screen and whatever. And Snake briefly tries it on, and you hear some kind of sound effect go off, some kind of like beep or click or whatever it was, and you think it's just, it's because it was just putting it on and connecting to him, and he's just not doing anything with it. And that's what I thought too, because it didn't show anything. But it was revealed that when he had the thing on, he had the guinea pigs that they were controlling switch out the meteor, the little meteor that he uses as the power source. He switched that out with a fake one. That was really cleverly done. And it was also revealed that that Wolf put the push pop in the freezer because he knew Snake would do something like that. And that one I felt was kind of forced, but whatever. And I like the reveal that the governor, what used to be a criminal, in fact used to be the most notorious criminal, and actually turned good in the middle of a heist. And what appeared to be would have been a really easy heist for her. And so I just like all this is done. Is it perfect? No. There are problems. Like, one, most of the comedic bits work fine, but some don't. There's a lot of... Because the meteor that crashed, the little piece they have is in the shape of a heart for some reason, and they keep acknowledging that it looks like a butt, and it's not funny, and there's Piranha's, deadly fart. No. But other than those two jokes, the comedic bits work fine. it seemed like for the majority of this movie, until the third act where everything starts to really pick up and starts being really good, the first hour of the movie, everything was just fine. The jokes were fine, some of them were really good, some of them were bad. The story's fine, the characters were fine. And the third act, everything really picked up. I only have talking 10 minutes. Wow, it's a short review. Because, like I said, the ones I like, usually I don't have as much to say about. Because there's only so many ways I can say something is good. I can rant about a bad movie all I want. Good movies are a lot harder to do. Unless it's one I'm defending that other people don't like my Diamonds and the Rough reviews. Like, my Percy Jackson review was over 30 minutes. This one's barely been over 10 at this point. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to... The action sequences are pretty cool to watch. I already mentioned that the animation looks great. It's got the nice fluid motions. It's got kind of like an... And a lot of the little movements and shots kind of have like an anime feel to them, which is cool enough. I'm not a huge fan of I'm not an anime fan, but it looked pretty cool within the movie. Yeah, there's not really much else to talk about. It's a decent movie. There's really nothing spectacular about it, but there's nothing really bad in it either. It's just kind of your average, good animated movie. So yeah, I can definitely give this a recommendation still. I wouldn't go for full price. I'd say matinee is probably enough. Sorry. Another notification on my camera. I gotta shut those off. So, yeah, that's all I got for the bad guys. I'm giving this a C+. That feels right. It may sound like a bit low because of how I was just praising this, but again, most of the stuff is just okay. Most of it's just fine. And there's some things that are good, some things that are bad. Most of the bad stuff were the two jokes, and I don't really like how the villain reveal was handled, but other than that stuff, it's a decent enough film. So, yeah, that's all I got for the bad guys, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.